Hello, folks. It's Monday. 13, what is it? 6th of June. I have to keep a calendar so I know what's going on. Hey, just right quick, I want to address something that I expect will happen as more people find my channel. The Gentle Giant interview really has been attracted more interest. But I want to let you folks know that are new to me that, are maybe not ready for me. The last thing that you're going to do is tell me what to do. So I've already deleted it and blocked it, but I want to address it because the comment was bullshit. Someone compliments me on the Gentle Giant interview, but also has to say that they think that my mention of racism is gratuitous and that they will not watch me again. That is an absolute bunch of horse shit. Racism is such a problem, such an egregious problem on this fucking planet, and I will talk about it as much as I want to. And also, it's a litmus test. It does show about the difference between decent people and folks who want to hide from facts. So that's a bee in my bonnet, and I'm just putting that out there. So if anything, I'll talk about it more. How's that? Okay, because racism is such a problem, such a problem. I even wrote a couple comments because I'm not doing much Facebook right now, but I was contemplating. And, okay, let me just read them because it's like, how do I put this, okay? So, if you don't like it, that's just too damn bad, okay? But I wrote that right-wingers refuse to look at how the social constructs that have benefited them, are very much responsible for... Okay. Let me just slow down. I just woke up. Pardon me. So what I wrote and what I'm saying and what is true and what a lot of people who are in denial don't even want to look at is the fact that, hey, right-wingers, you refuse to look at how the social constructs that have benefited you and given you your white privilege are responsible for creating the social conditions that you're always complaining about and fearing, okay? The inequity of economic opportunity, the long-standing history of colonial racism, okay? The other thing I wrote was that right-wingers refuse to acknowledge the history of brutality and exploitation that established their hallowed white privilege, and the madness continues. So for new viewers or people who think they're going to come over here and tell me what my business, this is how I am, okay? Get the message, alrighty? Anybody soft peddling bullshit. This world is a mess. And racism is wrong, and finger pointing and blaming entire... I could just go on, okay? But my anger is righteous, and it's something that needs to be addressed and never will be. The outright unfairness of the social construct of this world with regard to race, okay? So with that said, if you're still with me, and you might not be, and I already told you again that I don't care. I'm not running a popularity contest, okay? You don't like what I have to say? That's just too fucking bad. It is. I'm speaking from the truth of my life experience. Not for anybody else. That's why you see me talking about music like this, and then I just address the reality of racism. It's not about whether the music is black or white. I'm black and white and Native American and other stuff, okay? So I am a member of the human race. So I love it all. I'm showing this because I played this yesterday, and man, this is really good. Comus, First Utterance. It's not an original. Actually, the backstory is that I had a friend come in town from New York, Gary Foster. Good friend who we were estranged for just a second a few years back when he moved to New York. So it was great to see him. He was back in town for a couple of things, and he drove back. He drove to Omaha, he's like me, and it's like, we're just paying attention to stuff, and I'm not ready to get out there and mix it up with people like people are mixing it up. And he says, in New York, I don't know if y'all are hearing about it, but the COVID numbers are going back up in New York. But anyway, Gary is a good friend, musician, friend of mine. We shared some stories, and he told me some things I'd forgotten, some things I didn't know. Like, he produced Preston Love's last records, the jazz saxophonist from Omaha who played with Count Basie and actually has a name. But Gary played with Preston and was friends with him and some of the other people that he encountered as a result. Interesting stories. But I was talking and playing music, and this came up, and man, this is good. There is a pagan element to the lyrics, which I don't mind at all. That guy's voice, which is similar to the guy that was in the band Family, with that ragged kind of, sounds like a voice from the past, like you're being strangled. It's an interesting vocal sound that is apparently gone. It was a timely thing, but this is a great album. Comus, First Utterance, really good. Another record I spoke to Gary about that I recommended he get is Bubu, Anabelas. Progressive, very fiery, very good. Really wonderful arrangements. Close to, not Henry Cow, but more in that direction of progressive. And some of the guitar playing on here is really strong. What we listened to while we were talking was a bunch of, Ryoichi Sakamoto, Yellow Magic Orchestra, Charles Mingus. We listened to some Charles Mingus and had a good conversation about, it's over in the corner. If I could have grabbed some Mingus right quick, I would have. It was great to see Gary. And again, music is just a wonderful thing to share between people. It is. Hadn't played this in a long time and wondered if the whole album would be any good. Laurent Garnier, back from the days of techno, when techno was trying to go mainstream. I picked these up, I think, for $1 each. The whole album, $30, and then the single, Crispy Bacon, which I first saw as a video on AMP, MTV's AMP. Remember that show? That was fun, but I really couldn't get into a whole lot of it. And I don't make electronic music like that. Just beats to dance to, I don't. I did shop this weekend, but I was very, very conservative and only bought 2 records because that's all I found. But I didn't go. I only went to one shop. I went to Homer's. I know that if I go to Grapefruit, they'll get me. So I stayed away. But I was very happy. I already had a version of this, but not an original. Brian Eno's Discreet Music. This is the second run on Obscure. I'd be checking this stuff out so I don't get attacked by nerdy collectors who are really into minutia. There it is. But apparently the first run of this Obscure was on a brown label with brown lettering. And this is the second. And quite frankly, a big part of buying this was just to add it to the collection because it's an original copy of it. I didn't need to play. I did check it to see how well it plays. It plays good. And the only other thing I bought at Homer's was that they had of interest to me was Tyndall, Traumland, on the Sky label. And this is just a slightly, it's on the lighter side of this synthesizer thing that was happening. This label really got people's attention when Cluster and Eno came out on it. But they put out several other decent titles, but also among them would be these records, which are kind of light. I call it light listening. It's nice, but it's kind of on the pleasant side melodically. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So, I don't want to trigger anyone, but I'm just laying it down about what's happening here. This is me at my house, okay? So, new viewers, don't come over here trying to tell me about my business. And it's telling to me that someone would actually write to me saying that they don't want to hear about racism. That's how bad it is. You just want to erase history. A lot of the constructs of the world are unfair and wrong, and the colonial history of racism, not just to blacks, but the whole fucking planet has a lot to do with it. When my cousin Leroy was here, 84 years old, reminded me, our great-grandfather was born into slavery, and people want to act like that didn't happen, and it's not on my call, okay? So I'm not here to please. I'm here being real, okay? I'm doing it with love. You guys that have been with me, you know that. And if you know me personally, you know what I'm about. I care. I don't care about offending people who don't want to hear reality. Y'all can go the holy fuck away. Seriously, go away. Because you need to change. You need to change. Right-wingers need to change, just like left-wingers that are full of shit need to change, just like people who don't know any better than to hurt one another need to change. But we're not getting the message from the top. The top is is very selfish, and that's what I'm saying. The construct of the world is unfair. It's wrong. There's a lot of racism and built-in advantage for certain peoples. Okay, that just doesn't go anywhere. But I'll speak about it. If it makes you uncomfortable, search your soul.